He thought the courtroom was his stage, and me, his disposable extra. The oak walls carried his voice as he demanded everything: property, legacy, even my silence. My own father, the man who taught me to ride a bike, now painting me weak in front of strangers. Then came the final blow. The judge, his old friend, leaned forward, lips curling with contempt. "You are weak. Your testimony is worthless." The words were iron. The smirk on their faces, identical. That's when I leaned into the mic, voice low, steady. I whispered a single call sign. His smirk cracked. The gavel slipped from his trembling hand, and for the first time in my life, my father looked afraid. I wasn't always his enemy. Once I was his shadow. I adored him. When he laughed, I laughed louder. When he spoke, I memorized every word. He was my compass. Or so I thought. But years of loyalty turned into currency for him. Every secret, every story, every handshake deal whispered over whiskey, I remembered. He thought I was just a child. But children see more than they should. When my mother left, I thought he broke. Now I know he sharpened. The betrayal revealed itself slowly. First, the phone calls that stopped when I entered the room. Then the trips to business meetings that stretched into weeks. And finally, the will. Everything to him, nothing to me. I didn't cry, not once. I studied, I collected, I waited. The first file I uncovered was an accident, a laptop left open, a folder misnamed. Inside, scans, numbers, code names. One of them burned into me, Harbor 17. I didn't know what it meant at first, but he had taught me patterns, and when I followed them, they led me into shadows he thought he'd buried decades ago. Smuggling, payoffs, a network of names he had erased from his clean, respectable surface. The judge's name was there too, tied in knots of favors and debts. They thought they were untouchable. They didn't know I was watching. When the divorce trial began, my father carried himself like a king returning to his throne. He thought the judge's gavel was his scepter. I let him believe it. I let him roar in court, tear at my credibility, reduce me to nothing. I let the judge sneer, calling me weak, unworthy. Because revenge isn't loud, it's precise, and I had waited for precision. The climax arrived on schedule, like I had rehearsed. His words thundered across the room. "Your testimony is worthless." I leaned forward. My pulse was steady. The mic hummed under my lips. Harbor 17. That was all. 2 syllables. The sound tore through him like glass. His eyes widened. The color drained. The gavel slipped, clattering against polished wood. The judge froze, his jaw stiff, his smirk dissolving into horror. They weren't just friends. They were brothers in crime. And now, the ghost of their past stood in the courtroom, breathing through me. How do you know that name?" my father stammered, voice breaking for the first time in my life. I didn't answer. Silence was sharper. It didn't take long after that. The papers I had filed quietly, sealed under new jurisdiction, cracked open like wildfire. Journalists swarmed. Investigators circled. His empire of polished lies collapsed brick by brick. The judge recused himself within days, but the stain remained. His career ended in silence, stripped of robes he once weaponized. My father, my proud, unbreakable father, now reduced to whispers and handcuffs. I expected triumph to feel like lightning. It felt quieter, heavier, like exhaling after years underwater. Did it hurt? Yes. Watching him unravel was not joy. It was justice. And justice isn't warm. It's cold, deliberate, necessary. I didn't destroy him. He built the weapon himself. I just placed it in the light. People ask if I regret it, if some part of me misses the man I once admired. I don't, because that man never existed. He was a mask, a story he sold me until I learned to write my own. And in my story, the ending is mine. So when I close my eyes at night, I hear the sound again, the gavel slipping, the silence after the call sign. And I remember, weakness is letting them decide who you are. Strength is whispering the truth at the perfect moment and watching everything they built collapse under the weight of it.